So for some reason, Lauren Chen is openly pushing Nazis. So over the weekend, Lauren Chen, who's a host for The Blaze and hilariously describes herself as the only sane person who says Canadians aren't funny, went full Groyper simp clickbait maniac and retweeted a video of Nick Fuentes saying Nick Fuentes with a more balanced and rational take on Israel-Palestine than the entire political class. Oh, really, Lauren? So if you don't know who Nick Fuentes is, your life is better off. He's a Weasley little white supremacist, Holocaust-denying anti-Semite who's got a cult following online. And so Lauren Chen apparently sees this as a chance to get what I call parasite clicks. She gets the rage clicks Nick Fuentes gets from people who hate him, and she gets the support of his band of fans. So in the clip she shared, to nobody's surprise, with two working brain cells to rub together, which apparently excludes Lauren Chen, he's just lying. His smarmy bullshit is dripping with the anti-Semitic lie that Israel is intentionally committing a genocide against Palestinians in Gaza.
At the same time, we can call a spade and say that what is about to happen in Gaza is unspeakably horrifying and evil. And everything that the Jews are saying about what Hamas did, well, we know that they're full of shit. Because at the same time that they cry about Israeli civilians being killed, they're about to kill 10 times as many people deliberately. And it makes them the same. It makes them exactly the same. How is it any different?
He's pushing exactly the same propaganda talking points that Hamas is pushing, that people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar are pushing, and that pro-Hamas media is pushing. The lie that Palestinian civilian casualties are being intentionally targeted by Israel, which is not true, and the lie that defensive actions of Israel are the same morally as the terrorist actions of Hamas. And why are people like Nick Fuentes saying the same shit as people like Rashida Tlaib? Well, because they're united by a common cause, which isn't the Palestinians, it isn't freedom, it's hating the Jews. What's crazy here is that he can't even help himself. Most anti-Semites we're seeing right now are at least kind of good at saying Israel or Zionism instead of the Jews. Not Nicky Fuentes, though.
The Jewish state. The Jews.
And this is the argument Lauren Chen believes is balanced and rational, let alone the fact that in another clip from the same rant, which for some reason she doesn't share, he said he doesn't even care about the Palestinians, he only cares about using this as a PR strategy against Jews.
And so to the extent that Russia is rolling that back, or China is rolling that back, to the extent that Israel is being led into a trap which will alienate it from the world and diminish its influence, then we have to support these causes. We have to be strategic about it.
Because we live in a world where if you're caught being mind-numbingly dumb, the only strategy is to keep doubling down. So she replied to her initial post with this: "He's a far-right extremist. I've seen y'all literally call for genocide this week, while Nick is here advocating for peace and prayer between Jews and Muslims. Spare me your moral outrage. You're in no position to call anyone else a radical." So Lauren uses a logic trick you see all the time here when people are caught with their pants down online. Her first post said that Nick Fuentes was more rational and balanced than the entire political class. This is a political class that includes people who support Israel, don't support Israel, want to fund Israel, don't want to fund Israel, want to bomb Gaza, don't want to bomb Gaza, want to go to war with Iran, don't want to go to war with Iran. But because she's dumb, she wants to dumb things down and pretend the political class has one view, and it's the view she hates. So when people point out how idiotic she looks sharing a Nazi as her idea of balanced and rational, she moves the goalposts saying, "I've seen y'all literally call for genocide this week, and that Nick is advocating for peace and prayer between Jews and Muslims." So first off, no, he's not. He hates both of them, so she's putting words in Nick's mouth. But she's also reinventing her first point to defend herself. It works, unless you can read. And then in another post, she said this: "I think it's very important to those frothing at the mouth for war to see that even Nick Fuentes is viewing this situation with more humanity than they are. You can call Nick a bigot, but he at least has not advocated genocide." Except he has, against Jews. Here's just one quote from Lauren's favorite Nazi: "We're in a holy war, and I will tell you this, because we're willing to die in the holy war, we will make them, Jews, die in the holy war." Translate that into Arabic, and that's what Hamas is saying. Also, Lauren Chen says she's anti-war, but I'm guessing that doesn't include holy wars against Jews. And let alone the fact that she's on social media liking posts from other anti-Semites, like Jake Shields, who's proving that it is possible to keep on tweeting without a brainstem. After Israel announced that they'd be turning off Gaza's internet, because why shouldn't you provide free internet for the people trying to kill you? His response was, "This will make it so the world is unable to see the slaughter of innocent women and children Israel is about to unleash." So that's what Lauren Chen liked. Just like she liked other posts by white supremacists celebrating their online success without, quote, Zionist donors, or posts accusing Israel of genocide. But guys, she's just fighting for the truth. And this isn't even the first time Lauren Chen has simped for Nick Fuentes clicks. She's been tweeting about him for months and defending him for months. Not overtly, because even she wasn't dumb enough until this week to do that, but subtly, what the left love to call winking at the other side. Because here's the truth, she knows what she's doing. She just hopes her audience doesn't. The problem with Lauren Chen is that she's everything that's wrong with the world of idiots masquerading as conservative commentators, but who don't have really any values and will happily team up with literally anyone if it gets them attention. Why do you think so many conservative commentators queue up to kiss Andrew Tate's ass? Now, when it comes to Israel, Lauren Chen's supposed position, and one that she's had for a few years, is that we shouldn't fund Israel or any other nation. And you know what? That's fine. I have plenty of conservative friends who don't think we should fund Israel. But given how many people there are out there who don't think we should fund Israel, who also aren't Nazis who have called for the murder of Jews, isn't it amazing that she managed to find the one Nazi who has called for the murder of Jews? What a coincidence. Of all the people in all the world who oppose funding Israel, she chose the Hobbit Nazi. Here's the thing. The fight against anti-Semitism is the most important thing to me. And yes, the fight against anti-Semitism includes the fight against Hamas and the Squad and left-wing media making excuses for them. But if we actually want to win and we actually want to keep Jews safe, then it has to include calling out people supposedly on our side for the same anti-Semitic bullshit. I don't care if people don't want to send aid to Israel. I care when they throw themselves behind white supremacist, Holocaust-denying anti-Semites. Lauren Chen thinks Nick Fuentes is rational and balanced, a man who thinks Jews have no place in Western civilization because they're not Christians, a man who has called for the murder of globalists who run the media, and a man who has called for holy war against Jews. It mattered when conservatives ran cover for Kanye West and his defenders, and it matters now when conservatives elevate, defend, and celebrate perhaps the most notorious white supremacist Nazi in the country. But I do want to make one thing clear. I don't want Lauren Chen fired. Free speech is important even for morons. But what I do want is for people out there who care about the truth and care about conservatism and care about the West to choose their heroes a bit more wisely. Because if you're listening to Lauren Chen, you're supporting someone who is cheering on the success of white supremacists on social media, who is holding up Nazis as an example of rational and balanced thought, and is pushing the same propaganda Hamas is pushing, just translated into English. Doesn't exactly sound too conservative to me.